So it's true? So he is finally dead?
Yes, with some help of the armed sword sisters, we trapped the Baron and the knighthoods in the courtyard, and they slew all of them.
I tried to come north, but Daliset and
Oh, Hal, I know all about Daliset, and I'm eternally thankful to her and all of my children. Your return is most needed right now, for the Aserai and Sturgians will both be making huge invasions this spring.
What?
Almost 300 Consguards have sworn their allegiance to us, Mother.
Thank you both for your continued service.
This service sucks. Let me speak to your manager, boy. I'm gonna have you fired.
Shut up, Henry. When we want you to talk or give orders, we'll tell you.
Why does he get to become king?
Because you're stupid, Henry.
But, I'm older. Besides, look at that shrimp. He can barely swing his sword.
Henry, we point, you kill stuff. Hal is king. Understand?
I understand, but it's bullshit. Shut up and take my order. Dumbass. Dumbass.
And that's going to be, virtually all of the horse archers and Consguards that we can get a hold of course, because the Vlandians have none. The Battanians only have skirmisher cavalry. Even to the south, it's going to be very difficult to obtain horse archers. So we're going to put a bunch here in the castle. But before we do that, we're going to make an invasion here. Let's start an episode. Welcome back again, friends, to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. We are back with King Hal. Of course, we just arrived at Tyrby Castle and had the reunion with his mother, Lyanna. And of course, she saved herself. She called for aid. She ended up having to save herself against the tyrannical Baron, disposed of his old crusty ass in the courtyard. And now we have Hal here at Castle Tyrby. Now, I consolidated some of the horse archers here because we are going to be leaving some in garrisons. I stripped her of most of her horse archers and Consguards. We have about 300, maybe 350 total. And what I'm going to do is start leaving them in prominent garrisons, especially garrisons that we can get to because we're going to use these troops. It's going to be really interesting to try to amalgamate these 350-ish horse archers and Consguards into our Vlandian forces here. We're also going to do some campaign strategy today. We're going to do an invasion, probably, of the Highlands arena, but we're also going to talk about multi-strategy campaigns. We are going to start to make our first player clan armies here. We are going to boost up either, probably Commander Hal, Commander Hall. We're going to get Hal and Hall confused. That's Joel Hall, by the way. You're looking nice and young there, Joel. He's going to be a prominent commander, hopefully, in this campaign. The House of Saxe, of course. And what we'll do is we'll boost their influence. We're going to make sure that we give them troops, money, and keeps. Him alongside Entho, and maybe George the Bandit King. That's cool. He's got another bald guy. And Entho the Black. Entho the Black, it's a rule. You've got to shave your head to be a commander in his army. And we're going to talk about influence. You can see we're gaining almost 10 per day. That's not bad. But we're going to do policies along the way. This is a good one here, right? We lose a little bit of money. That's okay. We need the influence way more. And we're going to have these dipshits voting for peace. There's no way to avoid that. The system is not a great system. Of course, we're playing to a storyline here. No peace with the Aserai ever. And then probably only rarely peace with the Sturgians. With the Khazate, we shall see. That may be part of the storyline. You're going to have to wait for that part. Let's see. I thought there was another policy or two that we could do. I will save your time and do a little bit more research next time before I just start recording my stupidity. But we're going to basically try to have 2 or 3 armies. We're going to talk about campaign strategy. We're going to try to siege Rovalt at the same time as having another army either out there sieging, or hopefully my preference is that the player clan armies, in other words, your other armies that are in your kingdom under your control or sort of under your control, I would prefer that they were playing defense, and we will talk about that in this episode. Now, gathering all the types of food here to start maxing out King Hal's steward skill, and let's put a bunch of these Consguards here. Some guys might balk at putting some of their best troops in a castle, but this is how you recover if and when you get captured in a Bannerlord campaign, is to make sure that you have well-stocked garrisons. On a role-playing level and also a strategy level, Hal is going to be veering towards an infantry-heavy army. We're going to use cavalry, we're going to use crossbow, we're going to use Consguards, horse archers, but we're going to probably have 50+% of the army being infantry, and of course we'll use them strategically. We'll break them up into different divisions, we'll flank, square, we'll do some fucking sleight of hand on the enemy, all kinds of cool shit. And hopefully the tactics are stuff that you guys benefit from out there. Although, of course, you'll need some horse archers to do a lot of the tactics that we're hopefully going to be able to pull off. Nothing too fancy. It's the main advantage of a horse archer division here, of course, is a flanking archer division, which is very valuable. Now, we're going to dump a few of these armies because it looks like 2 or 3 armies out there. They won't generally form what I would consider a viable army unless there are 5 or 6 armies to choose from. Basically, you have to give your vassals, some tools in their toolbox to win war, to win battles. So I'm sort of picking guys here that are cavalry heavy. Every single army that I disbanded there had more cavalry than infantry. You do that for speed. Your allied armies need speed, that way they can close or get away from forces that are larger than them. And Commander Hall, just like Joel in the Discord, man, this guy, him and I we just brilliant minds think alike, right? We will be highly humble in today's episode. Commander Hall is immediately forming an army, and hopefully that's an auspicious start. Hopefully Joel Hall, Commander Hall, he's like 20 years old. I don't know if we're going to edit the character's visuals yet. We'll see. But he's out there now with 665 troops, and we will have these guys on defensive strategy to start with, right? We'll boost their influence from time to time. We'll give them some cash, and we got to give them a fief, because right now, of course, wow, you guys are like, of course, I don't know. Right now, House of Saxe has no cities because they lost Carbantheth. Now, we're over for our troops here, but that's okay. We're probably going to get deserters out of the recruits there. I'm actually just memorizing that number to see how many recruits come out of the disbanded. When you get units that desert, it typically is your worst troops, that's a good thing. I've seen it be a little bit random sometimes, but most of the time it's your worst troops. So, besieged by the Asurai. That didn't take long. The Asurai are at war with the Khazate. It's been kind of on and off. So evidently they've got so many forces that they can send forces our way and be at war with the Khazate. Now, we're going to siege Rovalt here, but this is exactly what I mean. We've got a castle under siege. If you didn't have a companion army, you would have to choose. You'd have to either go defend this place, and this is a nice way to sort of spy on the garrison. There's a decent garrison there of good troops. But what we can do now is hopefully, it says he's sieging right now. Hopefully Joel Hall, Commander Hall, you guys are going to go crazy if I call him Joel Hall. We'll call him Commander Hall. We'll do the best we can. We'll probably call him Commander Hal. That's probably going to happen. Of course, we have King Hal. And things are happening here on the eve of siege. Evidently, we are... it's cold at night, right? It's snowy, so we're cuddling up here, and King Hal is impregnating. Don't know if King Hal will have mistresses yet. We shall see, right? We're going to continue to form personalities in this campaign. I think that's essential. If you're going to watch me play a campaign for 100 hours, 80 hours, I think it's important that there's a good story. You got Stupid Henry. You've got King Hal, the tactician who's not much of a warrior. You've got his, evidently, quite shrewd and savage mother, Lyanna. Don't fuck with Lyanna, all right? She'll have you killed. I had toyed at the idea of essentially having that be all the Baron's mistresses, kill the Baron, but content enough to probably call those sword sisters or mercenary forces countered the Baron's assassination attempt. Now this is great, right? Traveling... Oh, no, it's not. Traveling to Callias Castle. We own Callias Castle. So Joel Hall, evidently, he needs... well, he's got his training wheels on, right? This is his first time being a commander. Now he's heading to siege. I've told him to be defensive, and of course you guys are out there. See, it's not me. It's everybody has a problem with the AI. The AI isn't terrific. I've done everything I can to get him to play defense. We'll see. We have a castle under siege up there, and evidently he's going to go... First, he's going to siege... yeah, we're not about to marry our mom off. Don't touch our mom. She'll kill you. We're not about to marry any of our women away, right? Maybe to player clans, but certainly not to another clan. And this guy is in there. That's interesting. I don't know if we've talked to him yet, but we're going to try to recruit him at some point. We could use more help here. But first, Joel Hall's up there trying to siege a castle we already own. It said he was sieging Callias Castle, and now he's sieging a castle right next to another one under siege. Hopefully he gets his shit together. Now, I'm waiting till we destroy at least a fire catapult here before we go in. Oh, beautiful, right? Traveling to Druimore Castle to defend. That is such good news. That is Commander Hall heading up to kick ass. And the key with defense is usually the AI does a really good job at defense. They wait until they're highly favored to attack as the enemy force is sieging down a castle. Let's do a few perks here. Stupid Henry he's getting a little bit more skilled, even though his intelligence is 2. Stupid Henry. Gonna have some fun role-playing with that. But usually defense is the way to go with companion armies. I would suggest that you do the primary heavy lifting for offense, siege like this. And we've got a really good configuration of siege weapons here. The enemy has no fire catapults. Commander Hall takes care of business on defense. And hopefully we can bang this city the same way we just evidently banged our wife. So do some upgrades here before we fly into this. And we're going to continue to show these in the early stages. There may be a point where I start to skip some of these. In other words, we may skip some more of these, although look at this shit. This is no easy take, right? 112 veteran infantry and 104 vanguard ferris. So these armies we're facing are virtually maxed. You'll never see an army like that in vanilla Bannerlord. The entire army basically was maxed out with tier 5 javelin throwers and tier 6 elite vanguard ferris. This is part of the reason the battles in this campaign are just, they're otherworldly, right? I decided to veer this direction, and what I mean by that is this direction is to have less huge armies as far as size fighting us, so it's not 10,000 versus our 2,000, and tougher armies instead, right? Instead of quantity, I decided to try to use mods to make it quality, so that the enemy we're facing usually has better quality units than we do, right? And then of course you have to outsmart the mediocre AI. Admittedly, that's not a heroic endeavor, but sometimes we're outnumbered and outgunned, and it's going to make for some truly brutal, very difficult battles. Now, this should be a run-of-the-mill siege, but again, we got the reinforcement system kicking. And at least a few of these, I'll continue to talk about strategies, just because at this stage, I think we are siege masters on the channel. You can do things that are better than us, I have no doubt. There are other siege masters out there. When guys write, what do they write? You guys write GOAT, greatest of all time, and shit like that in the comments. I appreciate that, but there's plenty of great Bannerlord players, and all the time we're improving on the channel, right? However, we've got this down to a pretty good science. We've got 3 different divisions on the Ram and the 2 Siege Tower. Then we have this juggernaut 2nd Division packed with skirmishers and throwing level guys that are going to come up in a big, long shield wall. And as we're going up, nothing on the wall that's visible gets to survive. They all get immolated by 1,000 javelins and throwing axes. Not only is it highly effective, but it's a beautiful thing. Now, we could get reinforcements, right? Whoops, sorry, buddy. It's a good thing horses don't get killed, because they would have just been killed right there by jumping into shit. I just jumped him onto a spike. We're going to stick the 8th Corps over here in the corner, hold fire in a square. They're on ice in case we get attacked here from outside, right? The Aserai could loom up with 2,000 forces and attack. So, you know, we've always got that in the back of our mind. But as far as offensive siege, I think this is highly effective. And what we're basically doing is battlefield hegemony. The same way the United States spent way too much money on the military for 100 years. There was an ultimate strategy for that, right? I think the United States has more aircraft carriers than the whole rest of the world combined. And on the surface, that's idiotic. But what it is it's military hegemony. If you've never heard of that term, it's a concept where you make your military so overwhelmingly powerful, kind of like England in the 1800s, early 1800s, that nobody bothers to attack you. They just know that war is almost impossible, and you sort of win the war before it starts that way, right? It's a little bit of Sun Tzu. Now, they just brought up infantry here for us to die, right? Watch this shit. Fire at will. So we've got total hegemony of the battlefield. The enemy cannot put units on the wall. They get 12 javelins in the face, 50 flaming crossbow bolts, and it's nothing but carcasses on the wall, right? And shields falling down from this snow-laden, look at this shit. It's like a javelin and throwing axe store, and it's amazingly effective at just blowing a hole through a tough defender. Of course, if these were vanilla troops, the enemy would have already routed off the wall. But the enemy's going to have nothing but tier 5 and 6 units, or almost nothing, on these walls. So it's not necessary to do this against the vanilla game, although, if you had 60 skirmishers that were pretty good, it would have a similar effect. It would melt everything in sight. But now we're going to push these guys up here. The enemy's still got troops. Look at this shit. Yeah, come my way, right? They're just coming right into the line of sight of all of our archers as these guys get flamed and scorched. And I'm just going to wait until these guys die, basically. Oh, shit. He threw over my shield. He threw a javelin for half of my health. We got to get King Hal the endurance perk. The 275 athleticism perk gives you a ton of extra hit points, and he's closing in on it. So I'm going to fight on foot a little bit more here in the beginning, the next 2, 3, 4, 5 battles to try to get King Hal to that critical endurance point. And then we'll probably do a mix of have him on a horse and on foot. Now this is incredible, man. It just shows you the enemy forces we're facing. You can see it's almost all tier 5 units, and they're just holding on like wolves in the face of an unbelievable onslaught. But we are slowly pushing them back here. Once we get around a corner, we're going to drag this force here. I totally feel like Brad Pitt and Troy, right? The man wants to die. We're just barreling in here. Little militia are hitting us with crossbow bolts. But we've landed on the beach, right? The proverbial Brad Pitt. We're going to show all these bitches how to do it. We're going to lead at the front. Even weak. Oh, shit. Although I'm getting smoked here. King Hal is, he's getting trial by fire, right? Let the boy earn his spurs. We're going to push forward here. Lead our troops, and of course, this is how you improve your character. It's risky, of course, because we had the battle side or the death for all mod cranked, but difficulty is the desire of this campaign, right? The vanilla Bannerlord, once you get to a good skill level, is pretty easy. We're trying to make this campaign almost impossible, right? The idea is to have it be almost impossible, where we can succeed, but it's brutally difficult. And I think so far so good, right? The enemy is lethally powerful. They've got tons of elite units. They're counterattacking us. The reinforcement system makes it even more unpredictable. Enemy lords are off the charts elite. And then, try to overcome all those obstacles. And hopefully, it's been entertaining. It's been a pain in the ass for me to play, and what I mean by it is that's a good example. Motherfuckers blocking everything. We can just charge at this stage. I don't think the king just died. Usually they make a different sound if they die. They're like, but if he dies, right? As you guys can tell from my moving narrative here, the storyline will move on. The king will be fine. Take a look at some of the other leaders here as our forces blow these Aserai dogs off the battlefield map here. That was a tough siege. And we had under 200 casualties. I'll take that. I mean, the enemy, these fucking enemies are going to fight like wolves. And in the future, we'll definitely I will I usually narrate and then I'll do a little editing afterwards, and you guys may just see the highlights of keep sieges like this, right? We're pretty deep into this campaign. You guys don't need to see me slog the way across every single city and castle that we siege. Maybe you'll get the highlights, or maybe I'll just tell you such and such happened, so that you guys sort of get concise details about the campaign. I'm not going to skip 12 sieges and be like, look, we won. Isn't that cool? We'll try to drag you guys along with some kind of narration. But at least for the very early stages of this new King Hal here, we are going to, at least show you some of these nuts and bolts, right? We're going to take some prisoners. Hal, of course, is already leaning towards an infantry army. I will say that's going to exclude the Vlandians. I'm not going to dump them and be strict about it because it would be too much of a pain in the ass. And look at this fucking equipment that's here. That's not a hack or a cheat. Just to remind you, this is all of our armor and shit that we stockpiled here from like the whole campaign, and the merchants. Just like the bourgeoisie of Paris in 1790, they seized all the assets here, and now they want top dollar for it. So it'd be nice if we could just take it all from them, but instead we'll just use it as an elite storehold for us buying equipment for our companions and whatnot. Pump a bunch of food into this city, and I think this city's going to Marshal Saxe, the House of Saxe, right? They lost, what was it, Carbantheth or Dunglanis? I can't remember which one we gave them, but they lost it. And so we're gonna hand out more spoils here. If I could, I would give it to Entho the Black, right? Because that was his original city. Now there's huge looter armies running around too. We've got all these dynamic variables, and here we go. Let's watch this shit. Sports Center version. Come on, baby. Commander Hall, kill him. Let's see if he hesitates. Nope. In they go, right? So that's your sign that they're attacking, is being defended by Commander Hall. I fucking love it. Well, he's got to succeed still, right? And the enemy could add reinforcements and capture him. We're going to try to make our way there, almost like a mama, a mama wolf to try to help Commander Hall. You want to have your companions. Damn it. This fucking guy here, Adid of the Wolfskins, just made us burn a bunch of influence. I think the Wolfskins are somehow part of our kingdom. I wonder if I can give them fiefs. I've never seen that before. I've never heard of that happening before, but maybe this is either a bug or it's an intended feature that after thousands of hours, I'm just learning now. I think that minor clan is part of our kingdom. I don't know if that means they can't leave. We'll see. It's really odd. And let's run up there and make sure Commander Hall is victorious. But that's a pain in the ass because I'm trying to keep about 1,000 influence, right? To divvy out, to form armies, for policies, and that just cost us a bunch just to tell them, shut the fuck up. There's not going to be any peace with the Sturgians. Don't know what I'm going to do about that. That might be a real problem here. Because one of the downsides of giving your player clans influence is they'll definitely use it to request peace in logical situations, whereas this campaign is going to be illogical, right? We're going to fight the two biggest kingdoms virtually unending here. Now finish the deal, Commander Hall. There's one defender left, and there they go. All right, so victory, right? His first battle, 1-0. I love it, right? Commander Hall, success. Now his army took a beating, but that's okay, right? He's gaining all kinds of skill points and perks and tactics, and they gain skill like your army, and this is a critical part of being a dominant kingpin in Bannerlord.
I am at your service.
He sounds German or something like that. And we give him a little bit of money. Typically, I don't give money to the subordinates. In other words, he's not actually in charge of his clan. Some other dipshit is in charge. Of course, Marshal Saxe was initially created for the House of Saxe, but he died of old age like a year or 6 months after I made his clan. So Commander Hall, we're just going to role play that's his grandson or whatever and move on. Now this garrison here, I'd like to dump some weaker troops into it and get some tougher infantry because war is coming, right? War is inevitable. The Sturgians are only at war with us, right? The Sturgians/Norse are going to be coming. And their armies are ruthless, and we're going to be trying to fight them with infantry. So we're going to have to get creative. We're going to have good troops to have any chance. See what Commander Hall does here. Carbantheth is next, right? And then Dunglanis. Although I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time in the Highlands arena. Let me explain. Yeah, this fucking aided of the Wolfskins. Yeah, the House of Sax gets it, you dipshit. Aided of the Wolfskins is spending all his influence and pissing me off. He might even execute that guy. Yeah, this is probably him too. He's asking for peace with everybody. He's just going around dictating shit. Try that with Napoleon. See how quickly you get sent back to Paris to be some fucking obscure governor of some building. Alright. Let's see what this guy does, but it's time to trap some Sturgians here, right? This guy looks like he's looping around, traveling to... Can't quite see. Commander Hall might help us run this guy down, right? This guy is coming right in the wolf's den. We're going to have this guy circled. Let's dismiss an army here. Oh shit, Commander Hall changed his mind. All of a sudden he's besieging. What's this guy doing? Traveling to Ox Hall. Well, he should be coming this way. No, no, no. What the fuck? Wait, don't run over there. This guy's like suiciding. What in the fuck? He's attacking villagers. Ah, you asshole. He just killed himself. We're not going to be able to probably even get over there. So a little bit messy here. I look like a dipshit. You know, these minor clans and these units, they do incredibly stupid stuff. I don't know what he did. He just ran over right in front of a huge army, attacked a bunch of villagers for there's no benefit to that virtually, and got captured. So, and look at Aidid of the Wolfskins, just eating up our influence. You fucking asshole. This guy might take a javelin in the back of the head one of these battles here. He's fucking with my plans, right? To quote Walter from The Big Lebowski, right? Walter Sobchak. Can't do that, man. It fucks with our plans. Over the line! If you guys have never seen that, you young guys, you need to go watch it. It may not make you laugh. It's an odd movie. The Coen brothers, right? They're an odd comedic funny bone. And this is very bad, right? The Khazate and the Asurai now have peace. So that means both of our enemies have nobody except us in their sights. And of course, as a content creator, I'm loving it, right? Bring on the challenges, bring on more fucks, kill them all. We're going to definitely be content to fight everybody, at least for the time being. I don't know if you can fight the whole world, right? That's what Napoleon found out. So the Khazate are not at war with anybody. And who knows how that's going to play out. But the Sturgian force is about to get trapped, right? They're coming in here. It says they're going to Ox Hall, but they're definitely going to attack Commander Hall. Malkron, the heavy hand, is winning tournaments. We got looters on the other side here. The chaos in this campaign builds to crescendo here. We're going to run down this Sturgian force trapped themselves like a bunch of dipshits. It's still going to be a bloody battle. Obviously, we're going to fight these battles out. Not only could there be all kinds of death, but this is just no gimme. You can see the power bar. It's almost even, and that's probably because they have 800 Varangians. And let's see. Okay, I'm put in charge of everybody, but we're towards the back of the battlefield. So what I like to do in situations like this is just peel everybody back. I do that to buy myself some time to split these units, but I'm also doing that to see what the enemy does, right? Are they going to take a defensive position, or are they going to charge? Because it's very different tactics depending on what they do. And of course, the first 30 seconds, the enemy usually shows their hand. They're going to tell you what they're going to do. So, now, follow me. I'm making 3 cav divisions, 2 infantry divisions, a horse archer division, 2 archer divisions, and indeed they are charging. So let's start making lines way at the back of the map here. We can put some crossbow kind of up on the ridges there, and we're going to form our typical formation for them here. Skirmishers in the 6th. Hopefully it's skirmishers. We'll put cav and horse archers on our right, and we're going to use this little ridge here. It's a very good peekaboo ridge. Even though the enemy's mostly infantry, it's still going to be somewhat effective if we could put infantry right at the base of this little cliff, this little hill here. And here they come, right? Just a giant line of Varangians, and just the whole line is Varangians. That's one of my favorite death sounds. Just I like almost all the death sounds. I like death, the enemy dying, making noises. Alright, the enemy is coming over in a huge vanguard, and I don't have the archers here to do any kind of a kill box. We've got a lot of infantry, so on some level we're going to have to slug it out with these huge Varangian forces, and that's obviously going to be a brutal challenge, because these units are OP. If you're using this mod and you're using them, you will find that you just blow everything out of the water. They're unbelievably powerful. there's no unit in the game like them, you know, if you're using this mod. What I mean by that is I think being champs might be able to kite them, but no infantry, nothing else can handle them, right? They're just going to smash them to pieces. However, we have a great reverse slope decline defense here. We've got good cav defenses on both wings, and we've got a whole bunch of concentrated firepower on this Vlandian division. So I expect some success here. Keep pulling this first division back. You guys have seen the scheme. The scheme that works really well in Bannerlord, generally speaking, is to pull the enemy towards the center, surround them like a firework in your hand, and then squeeze and hope your hand doesn't blow up. Once the enemy's deep in, then you can start attacking aggressively with all your forces. Here, that first division is purely playing defense. There's so much offense and power behind these Vlandians. I want them sucked in, and I want the other units to work on them a little bit here before we start getting offensive. I want them to get some javelins and arrow shots in here before we charge. And the death spam doesn't look good right now, but you know, we're fighting incredibly hard troops. At some point or other here, definitely going to get King Hal down on the ground level. Right? We got to work on his athleticism, and we have their archers, even though it's a small amount. We have them completely cut off from the rest of the battle. So these infantry are ours to kill now at our leisure. Got crossbow over here that's probably a little bit vulnerable. We pull the horse archers and crossbow back. Let's give them some shields to shoot at. And the death spam just started to look a lot better. Green is starting to flush. Even though these are Vlandians, they're still getting melted by these tactics. Kill them, boys. There's a lot still. Now it's cool they have line breakers and other nasty infantry mixed in with the Vlandians, as if it's, you know, it's almost nastier to have line breakers, because then you have all this defense with a bunch of axe murderers wailing away. And look at all our heroes, Henry and George the Bandit King, racking up kills. I love it. Adrian the Bull gets a kill. Now it's time to get King Hal to 275 athleticism. And I need it. These guys are swinging deadly axes at me. We need the hit points too, right? He has like 140, 150 hit points. This will get him like 200. Wait until the enemy's reeling here and try to get some kills at the back of the line. That might be it. I mean, we just melted their cavalry and infantry in one savage counterattack. Although they're still moving up tier 5 infantry. There's no lack of elite troops in this army we're facing. He's got decent one-handed skill, right? We've got to level that up too. I'm not going to look down at it right now, but I think it was 230 or 250 or something like that. It'd be nice to get his one-handed skill up, because then he'll be a lot more serviceable with it. Right now it's pretty pathetic. 40, 20, 15 damage here as we screen our retreat. Oh shit, they're all around me here. I'm in trouble. He doesn't run very well. Run, boy. Go. Getting fucking axe murderers swinging at me. Fuck. And the death spam just turned really bad. They must have a whole nother wave of elite infantry. They do. It's just fucking thick. This fucking guy chasing me. Catch one in your belly, you stupid fuck. Have one in your knee. I used to be a fucking warrior, and I caught a javelin in the knee. These sons of bitches are just pouring in infantry still. I thought we had these guys whipped, and they are just boring in still. All right, we got lots of infantry to counter them. Let's get horse archers on this side here. Still got half a health bar, and they are just after me. What, I fuck your sister? Look at all these guys chasing me. They're all over me. I swear she said she was 18. Get in there. The Baron's like, she said she was 14. I married her at 14. Just the despicable shit they would do back then. Today we call it like pedophilia. Back then they just called it, I don't know what you call it, fucking horrific. You know, very routine for 15, 16-year-old women to get pregnant back then. Puberty came, it's interesting, if you study the biology of, the history of basically sexual biology, human beings are becoming more fertile on both ends today. Earlier, they're fertile earlier and later. Of course, 40, 50, even 50-year-old moms can have kids back. Back then, it's very uncommon for a 40-year-old woman to have kids, better nutrition, a bunch of other reasons, probably, some form of just biological changes over the course of time here. Get out of here. Yeah! That was a woman screaming like a man. Alright, well, we got them on the run here. We're going to take this ridge. They have tons of archers, but they look like they're routing. So we're pushing hard here with infantry. You want to keep the momentum. I guess they're just... Oh, shit. They just pulled up their fucking... We're going to get smoked here. They have tons of Fiend champs and elite units still. Let's stick cavalry in their face. Our infantry's setting up. Our archers are going to be behind us here soon. And this just smells like an opportunity here for King Hal either to get killed or let the boy win his spurs. Kill some Fiend champs. That'll help your EXP. And tear his limbs. Yeah, but never mind sexual maturity. Of course, nobles would routinely, 55-year-old nobles would get married to 16-year-olds. They didn't give a fuck back then. The word pedophilia did not apply. It was basically consent, and you had tyrannical despots, right? These guys, there was nobody telling them shit back then, so they did all kinds of horrific shit. All right, that's not terrible, right? 700 losses. That was kind of a steamroller. Smashed that army to pieces. No deaths, right? Critical. And I see lots of up arrows for our companions, right? Companions left and right. George the Bandit King, etc. Gaining EXP. Isagun's getting stronger. And all, what do they say? All engines green. You know, everything, all lights green here. This campaign... I mean, there's going to be setbacks, but we're off to the races right now, right? King Hal's off to a very strong start. He's got Commander Hall. That's going to be a problem. We'll do the best we can. King Hal, Commander Hall. Take a few prisoners here, and I think this is a pretty good spot, actually, to wrap this episode up. I don't actually have forever to play today. It'll have to be a truncated session. Maybe we'll attach some other stuff to it at some other point. And we're going to do this, you know, here and there. There will be, I guess this will be about a 40-minute episode. There will be 40-minute episodes mixed in. There'll be an occasional hour-and-a-half episode mixed in. It'll kind of depend on the flow of the campaign and your feedback. Right now is your time to leave that. I appreciate you fellas. This Sturgeon army escaped, but they ran the wrong direction. Let's round them up. In fact, I sentence you to death. Death by looters there, Zero. Let's let her... Look at this, is beautiful. Look at the looter swinging his pitchfork, attacking these Sturgeon, these Norse lords. Kill them. This is so beautiful. These huge looter armies can play an impact, and this is... It's superficial, but it's still a hilarious impact. You can picture all these lords. Let's regroup. Oh shit, Lord, there's a huge army of looters, and the even better part of this is we're going to be able to get prisoners. Whatever prisoners the looters take here, we'll scoop up here because we're going to capture these looters now ourselves. In fact, I don't think I've gotten the 275 perks. We'll finish. We're going to finish this episode today with a thrilling final battle here. We're going to fight some looters, 1,000 looters, 800 looters here, and let's do some very, very simple tactics. We'll just pull back into a C-shaped formation, spread formation once the enemy's close. Then we can circle and charge. Nothing too complicated, of course. And the purpose of this is solely to try to get Hal some athleticism EXP here, right? We're going to hack a little bit on the backs of these looters and then get off the horse here and try to get him some EXP. Just a touch of farming here. Of course, you guys know we're not doing this a lot in the campaign. Even that we're not showing you, right? It's not like as soon as I stop recording, I do a bunch of farming. You guys are seeing the majority of the important shit here, but you guys get to see a little farming here. And we're going to wrap up the episode. It is kind of a hilarious sight, right? This giant mob of looters. And sometimes the looters have good troops, right? Sometimes they'll have mounted archers and javelin throwers and shit like that. Not here. This looks like a homeless encampment broke loose and just started rampaging through the forest. And we got it. Oh, we're one point short. But we're basically right there, right? And that's going to mean a big difference for King Hal. Not only is he going to have some survivability on horse, but on foot, too. He'll be able to get off his horse and fight on foot. And if you can't tell, I've mentioned it a couple times, that's the direction, tactically, we are veering in this campaign. We are going to fight more foot combat in this campaign. Infantry tactics are by far the most popular on YouTube, in Bannerlord. So... Nah, you're an enemy. Did I ask you to speak? I love this shit. Shut the fuck up. You're the enemy. So we're going to do a little bit more infantry tactics, and by doing that,
Is
what
that you?
going on here?
Am I-
It's the same guy.
Is that you? Am I free?
What's happening here? Has been taken prisoner. I don't know if this is a bug. He's been taken prisoner. It's the same guy.
Is that
It's,
you?
I think we're bugged
Am I-
here. So
Is
I don't
that
know how
you?
we get out of this.
Am
Hopefully I'm not bugged. Not sure quite what happened here. Anyways. And what the nice thing about that is this campaign then is going to really have all the tactics in one bag. It's going to have sharpshooter tactics. It's going to have archer tactics. We're probably going to get some skirmishers, right? So we're going to have infantry tactics. We've done horse archer tactics with the Kazate. And of course the Baron has shown you a cavalry heavy army fighting. So we've tried to do it all here. And of course you want to subscribe if you want to see more, friends. Please hit notify and like on the way out. And with all that said, friends, I will see you, fellas, next time.